What is up, podheads? Back with another episode of the Podioslave podcast. My name is Tony, joined as always by Anthony.
Yo, yo.
And we just had a pretty wild conversation. A second member of Taking Back Sunday joined us, and, the former member now. And I don't think, 230 episodes 4.5 years ago, we thought we talked to one of them. And the fact that we got
that's a good point.
Deep dive where you want to be tonight and talk about their new record with Sean back in the fall last year my mind is blown right now.
I know. Like if you pinched like 2002 us, juniors, senior years in high school, getting into telling your friends like, hey, in 22 years you'll be chatting with these guys, reminiscing about these albums, and they'll still be at it. It's like, wow, it's amazing.
It's wild, and I'm super happy to have ever be able to do any of this stuff. So stoked that you guys clicked on the episode. It's a really fun one. There's a lot coming here in a couple of minutes with Eddie Reyes, formerly of Taking Back Sunday, and I am just blown away right now. But you had something you wanted to throw at me.
I did, yeah. So we do these kind of retro 20-year, 10-year episodes of like special albums. We always say that. We save these episodes for special albums. And this is a special album, but it was sandwiched in between two other special records, which is crazy. Tell All Your Friends, Untouchable, Where You Want to Be, Untouchable, and Louder Now, Untouchable. So we did those. How many times did we did an episode with just us where we talked about bands with 3 album runs, right?
The He's on Fire, yeah.
He's on
and
Fire
then we did
segment.
one with Greg, didn't we?
Greg Bergdorf, formerly of Zebrahead.
Yeah.
And I think I threw Crime in Stereo out there. We did, what other records did we do? Bands.
I did Third Eye Blind. You did a different Third Eye Blind run.
Oh, that's right.
We had a couple. I think I had Queens of Stone Age. We had some fun ones in there. And I don't, how we missed Taking Back Sunday the couple of times we did that is kind of beyond me. But yeah, they've had a couple of runs themselves. And this first 3 album run is untouchable.
Untouchable. And what's interesting is, so the first 2 were on Victory. The third, Louder Now, was on Warner Bros. And a lot of times you see bands fall off on a major label debut, right? There's so much pressure to deliver. There's, big budget, and you take it in a different direction. You bring in a big producer, or there's a push for a big single. I don't think there was any of that. Actually, Eddie does get into a little of that.
Right.
In the episode. There's some Louder Now, a little bit of Louder Now talk, but the bulk of this is Where You Want to Be. And it avoided the sophomore slump. I was actually talking with a coworker recently about this album, and it avoided the sophomore slump. Like, I don't think they missed a beat between where Tell Your Friends and Where You Want to Be.
Was it Kevin?
I think it was Kevin. Shout out Kevin. If you're listening.
Hey, Kevin. Yeah, no, I'm with you. There's no sophomore slump. They are them through and through this record. It's a very Taking Back Sunday record, and it could have gone completely differently, and it didn't. So super stoked, especially with all the turnover they had and what they were able to accomplish, and then those guys coming back too. So the Taking Back Sunday story is very intriguing from start to finish, and we've uncovered a couple of gems, and this is one of them.
Yeah, come for the backstory on Eddie's ties and his outfits, and stay for the lore about the album cover. This is Where You Want to Be with Eddie Reyes.
Where you guys from, if you don't mind me asking?
Maine.
Portland, Maine, baby.
Maine?
Yep. Portland.
Maine. So do you guys know Phil Hanratty?
That name sounds familiar.
I don't recognize that.
He's the guitar player. He used to be in Clockwise with me. Then he was in Airtype 11. But now he lives up in Portland with his family, and he surfs. Every time I'm in Portland. He's like my ex-bandmate, but he's...
Nice.
Phil Hanratty is the reason. Are we recording?
We are.
Okay, we don't have to use this.
I can cut this though. Yeah.
No, we can.
Okay,
we can.
Cool. Yeah.
I think Phil will enjoy this. But Phil Hanratty, I grew up on Long Island with. He's from Ireland, actually. We were in a lot of hardcore bands together, Clockwise, stuff like that. And then he went on to be in a band with R.D. Shepherd from Minor Matter. They went on to start Airtype 11. Anyway, fast forward. He moved to Portland, so every time I played Portland, I would come out and see him.
Nice.
But he was the reason why Adam Lazzara became our singer. Well,
really?
Our bassist, because our bassist quit, so Phil filled in for me. And then when we were down in North Carolina playing some shows, he introduced me to a scrawny little 17-year-old kid with a little stupid emo haircut. That was Adam at a Waffle House. And Adam said, I really want to try for your band on bass. I said, if you really mean it, you'll be on my front doorstep up in New York in like a couple of days, if you mean it. And then literally 2 days later, boom, 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 knock on my door.
Wow.
Here comes in this scrawny 17-year-old with his friend, Chris Caballero, who's still my homeboy. He drove him up. And yeah, so it's because of Phil. Adam's in the band. Phil lives in Portland. There.
And that's where we're from. Yeah.
It's five degrees of Eddie Reyes. Anyway.
And we've interviewed half of Long Island. So this was meant to be, Eddie.
Yeah. George Reynolds from Monteverde had a joke on Long Island about me. They used to call it 5 degrees of Ed Reyes because they would connect me to like actors and people in like one move. I don't know.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
I figured I threw that little spice in there. I don't know.
No, I like that. That's a good way to start because I was actually thinking about it the last time I saw Taking Back Sunday. You guys play. I think you were still with them. You played the 10-year. You were on tour 10 years to tell all your friends. So you played the State Theater in Portland, Maine.
I have the 10-year anniversary tattoo.
Nice.
Yeah, the State Theater.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Like 2,000 cap. Got a little like pit in the front of the stage, and then there's seats behind it. Awesome.
Yep.
That was an amazing show. I remember going with my buddy Chris, and we were like, we are not missing this. And I think Adam at one point ended up in the upper bar with the mic singing. Yeah, it was wild.
That sounds about right.
That's when he was more movable and younger. Now he's old and just prances around stage.
I feel that. As a 40-year-old man, I feel that myself. So.
And wears suits.
Yeah,
wear suits on stage.
You guys are 40. I'm in my 50s.
Well, hey, I'm glad you brought that up because we've been fans since 2002 when Tell Your Friends came out.
Right.
So we've been listening to you for 20 years. I get 2 young kids. One of them's 4. I had to think about this. One of them's 4, one of them's 2. And they're starting to get into music. And they like all the Disney stuff and Muppet Babies. But I've been introducing them to, I call it my music, right? So in the car, a few weeks ago, I've been listening to Where You Want to Be a lot leading up to this. And I played Number 5 with a Bullet. And my son, who's 2, he goes, Dad, play my music. So I pull a fast one on him. I go, buddy, this is your music. And he gets all excited. He's like, oh, this is my song. So Number 5 with a Bullet, he calls it the, I really got to hand it to, it's the Hand It To You song. He goes, really good, Dad, play the Hand It To You song. And I'm like, that's my boy. That's my boy. So it's generational.
That's crazy. My kids are like that. But when we used to get in the car and I used to take them to drop them off at school, they used to go to Montessori together. It was always like my kids listen to Ghost. They listen to Napalm Death. They listen to Quicksand. They listen to Chain of Strength. Like I don't know, my kids are on Instagram. My son has more followers than me. He's a better guitar player and better and more handsome and about 2 feet taller than me. But anyway, they used to tell me that. They used to be like, we're into all this because you used to play all that music when we were little kids. Joy Formidable. Then you'd play Bad Brains and, this. And then when it was hip hop, it was, Wu-Tang and all the old school shit that I grew up on watching The Box in New York, back in New York. So anyway, it's just weird knowing that, you do that stuff for your kids. They're going to grow up. I mean, I didn't push anything on my kids at all. I never said, I told my kids when they were young, be honest, be individuals, be proud of yourself, never give a fuck about what people think about you and have respect though. So they're like that, and we were talking about how they said because of all those songs and all the hardcore songs and all that stuff, like they grew up with like those morals, those DIY morals that we had growing up in the hardcore scene and stuff like that, and ethics. And I'm so appreciative because their generation, I feel like, is the generation that's going to carry the scene, even though there are people doing it right now. You know what I mean? So it's cool that you do that because it will stick with them. I promise you. That was the only thing I did to inspire my kids was, hell no, I ain't listening to that unless it's Yo Gabba Gabba and Dad, you're on Yo Gabba Gabba. I would play that.
Nice.
But no, man, we would, my son would get in and be like, play my jam. And it'd be like Slayer, boom,
Random
but they were like 4. They were 3 and 4, Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Anyway, that's a cool story, man. I appreciate that.
All right. So let's talk 20 years of Where You Want to Be, which just turned 20 as of this recording a couple of weeks ago. Are you ready to go a little back in time with us? A little time traveling, talking
I
back
would
in the
love
day.
to. I mean, that record means so much to me. You know, Tell Your Friends will always be special to me. But Where You Want to Be is like my album. I can play the album. I can play the album from beginning to end and love every song and get every goosebump, and still think I'm a dumb little hardcore emo boy from Long Island playing in this small little basement. You know what I mean? So, man, so many memories. How do you want to start this?
Yeah, let's talk right after Tell All Your Friends. You guys are
Well, we were in transition.
Yeah.
John, Mark, and Sean decided to move on. Adam and I didn't know what we wanted to do, and I said, "Well, I'm not." And I started this band. I'm not going to let them walk away, you know. So I did try to coax people to come back. They said no. I said, "Fine, that's cool." So I called up my old homie Fred Mascherino, who was in, man, so many great, you know, old hardcore bands from PA. He came down and tried out instant, and then we got Matt Rubano, who was friends with Mark, because Mark did come back. I finally did talk Mark into come back. So,
oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Mark came back, and then instant, we just started writing. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. We just wrote so many songs in Mark's. It felt good when Mark came back. It felt normal, and just songs started spilling out of us. And then we went to Brooklyn. We worked with Lou Giordano. He's done so many great bands and so many. He did
A Boy Named Goo.
Boy Named Goo.
Dolls.
Yeah.
All time album. I love that.
And he also mixed, you know, their big hit song, the one that was on City of Angels.
Iris. Yeah.
Yeah, he did Iris, all that.
Oh,
so
shit.
that was our dude. And yeah, he came down from upstate New York. And I mean, it's 5 dudes in Brooklyn with a dude from New York, and you know, just surrounded by the city. It's just so many songs came out. That's the only way I can explain it. And then we shot over to Hoboken, New Jersey, to finish it, edit it, and mix it, add guitars and yada. And that story was great because next door was this guy Billy Milano, who was the singer for MOD and SOD.
Oh yeah.
He used to come over all the time and hang out with us and like just talk hardcore and yada yada. And like that was like one of my favorite memories. But it was just, I don't know, man. That album, yeah.
So Tell Your Friends explodes. Like that's when we got into you guys, and like even up in Maine, you guys exploded. And then you get to come back and do another album. 40% of the band is turned over. Are you feeling pressure to deliver, or are you just so young where you're just like, let's just figure this out?
Well, at the time, I wasn't young. I was almost in my 30s. But at the time, I was like, nah, this is my band. People want to stay, stay. You want to go, go. I always had this saying, in the end, no matter what, I'm always, like, when you're gone, I will always still be here. And that was my attitude with Taking Back Sunday, which, you know, so be it. Whatever personal issues happened, yada, yada. I didn't have problems with those guys. You know, it sucked losing those 2 guys. But Tell Your Friends blew up. And like, Tell Your Friends blew up, yeah, but we were already doing good before Tell Your Friends came out. Like, we were already selling out places, even on demos and EPs, we were doing that. So Tell Your Friends did help us, like, expand more, I guess. And, yeah, and then Where You Want to Be came in, and I think Where You Want to Be was, like, for me personally, exactly what I wanted Tell Your Friends to be. Tell Your Friends is still, to me, Tell Your Friends is a happy accident.
Right on. I like that.
And Where You Want to Be is what me personally, I'm not speaking for everyone in the band, but me personally was, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah.
This is it. And then when Louder Now came out, I was like, all right, we got this, you know?
Yeah. Nice.
Now, why did you feel that way? What was it about Where You Want to Be?
It's just, I think losing 2 important people to me hurt me and re-broke everything that I thought I fixed after Tell Your Friends along with other people. So when you get refractured, you got to put yourself back together and stronger. So I felt like the writing was like that. Me, Mark, and Fred, like just boom, just wrote hit after hit. I'm not saying a hit like cocky.
I'll say
like,
they're all hits.
Yeah,
it's
bangers.
To me, it's like boom, boom. Like this is Long Island hardcore. When people want to know what Long Island Hardcore sounds like, that album, any Sound Majority album, and any Movie Life album. That's it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
Which I was in 2 of those bands.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
But I don't know, man. It's just another great memory was we were getting ready to go over to Europe for the first time, and I had to sit on the phone with the other band we were going to tour with, and I got to know them, and I was just excited to go over to Europe. It's been forever for me. So just that album, just everything just fell into place. That's the only way I could explain it.
How close were you guys to either taking a break or calling it quits in between? Or was it like, no, we're just going to, Fred's going to join, Matt's going to join, we're going to go?
Yeah, no, I went back to Cleveland to hang out with my girlfriend at the time. I had a couple bucks in my pocket, and I said, nah, it's not going like this. I called Adam up, and I said, dude, we could do this. I got somebody. He's like, all right. And then I introduced him to Fred. And Fred was my first thought. I had no one else. And then as far as drummers, I had a bunch of drummers send me stuff, but no one will ever be Mark. It's hard even today. No offense to my drummers now. They're great guys, but it's just me and Mark had this chemistry that it's sad. I don't think I could ever find it again. But even though I'm still doing it, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So getting Mark back, it just all fit into place.
Well, from a fan's perspective, like you kind of heard of the turnover, and this was like the internet was around, like Absolute Punk was around, but like it wasn't like Twitter was around where people were all up in your business. But at least as fans, we kind of knew what was going on. But when Where You Want to Be dropped, it certainly didn't feel like you lost a step, because that happens a lot.
Not at all.
When bands turn over like that, maybe a major songwriter leaves or something like that. Nothing like that happened.
Well, I have a million songs put away in my head from Movie Life, from Clockwise. I can name a million bands. Inside, riffs, songs that I never got to use with them that I wrote that honestly became Taking Back Sunday songs. That's just the truth.
I love it. Yeah.
I'll tell Vinny Caruana that to his face. I love that guy. And I'll tell him, hey, guess what? That riff is really a riff that you guys didn't like. And guess what? Grandpa here kept it in the old vault. The one thing that he doesn't remember making a sandwich in the freaking kitchen, but I remember songs I wrote 30 years ago. But a lot of those songs were like that. So we were like, boom, boom, boom. But also Fred is like, he's a musical genius. And Mark O'Connell is just, man, I don't have a doubt in those guys. So when I showed them a riff, I knew they were going to put something good to it. And they did. You know what I mean? So that's how it flowed. It was just natural.
So it was easy bringing Fred in and bringing Matt in, and you guys just hit the ground running. Songs were flowing. Did you have anything beforehand that you hung on to or used, or was it all like new stuff?
Like what? When Fred came in?
Yeah, when Fred and when you guys turned the band over. And,
it was all new stuff. I mean, like I said, there was a couple of old riffs, but the songs were molded new. Fred had some great song ideas, and Mark did, and I did, and even Matt Rubano came up with some cool bass lines. But it flowed, man. It was like alive again,
Yeah.
So writing with Fred was very easy. Writing with Fred, writing with Mark, even writing with John Nolan, so easy because they're so talented. I knew we were going to be fine. I didn't know if we were going to be the biggest band in the world, but I knew that we were going to play a good show in fucking Connecticut.
I love that. Yeah. Well, you end up being a pretty big fucking band.
Yeah, go figure. I don't feel that way. I still don't feel that way. I walk around and people like, they want to take pictures of me, or I help a friend out. He opened a restaurant, and now it's a club at night where he has shows. So he's shorthanded. So I go and I sit at the door and I check IDs for 2 nights just to help him out. And it's great because people are like, every week people are coming back, high-fiving me. I feel like, the old guy that works at the bar who used to be like the legendary boxer.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I kind of feel like that old guy. Hey, kid, let me tell you about a show back in 1995. Like, that kind of shit. But I don't even know where I'm going. I don't even know where I was going with this. There goes my ADHD. Anyway.
Well, Eddie, so you're in the studio in Brooklyn. You guys are writing and recording. Are you guys referencing Tell Your Friends at all to be like, hey, we got to sound a certain way? Like, we got to have that Taking Back Sunday sound? Or did you just let it rip?
Well, for me, any band I'm in, besides the movie life, every band I've been in, I've always wanted two singers because it's just,
right on.
it brings a whole different life to the band. Movie life, we didn't do that. I don't know why we didn't do that, but Vinny's great on his own. But like, I know for me personally, like Clockwise, my old hardcore band Clockwise from Long Island, we got very popular too. And Phil from Portland was in it. We had singers. Phil sang, George screamed. So it just went that way all the time. Actually, no, Inside too, but there was some backbone. Anyway, so back to the story. Like Fred and Adam just flowed perfect together. So there was never an issue with that. Yeah. So as soon as I heard them flow together, I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't like, oh, this has to be like Tell All Your Friends. With us, we didn't care. The only time we felt pressure like that was after Louder Now. Because you're dealing with all the big suits who pretend to be your friends. And,
oh, yeah.
Hey, here's all this extra money, blah, blah, blah. And then the minute you don't do shit for them, they drop you.
Write a single for us. Write a single.
Yeah, write the hit. We need the hit. Yeah. Where's the hit? Where's the radio song?
That happened. I had our guy tell us, great album, but you don't have a hit. And we literally had to go upstairs in the studio as a band and write fucking a hit song. And we did. You know, Better Homes and Garden, you know, songs like that. But so back to, was I worried about this album having to be like Tell Your Friends? No. The minute we practiced together and I heard Fred and Adam sing together, I said, we're fine. And we were. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So in listening to this, it obviously sounds like Taking Back Sunday. It still does today. It's still fresh today. There's a little more of an edge to where you want to be than there was on Tell Your Friends. Is that by design?
No, it's called budget and recording.
Nice. Yeah.
I fucking recorded that album in what, 5-6 days? No, 10 days. I'm sorry, 10 days. Sal Villanueva did it in 10 days. That guy's a genius. Yeah, so that's a 10-day album. There you go. If you want to know what New York hardcore sounds like, but a little bit of post-hardcore in there, that album, okay? Sounded shitty, fast, whatever. Tell Your Friends, we had more of a budget and we had more time. Not that much more time. Just instead of 2 weeks or instead of 10 days, it took a month, you know? So that's the difference, I think.
Any other memories from the studio? Sorry.
Yeah. It was a cool, the studio in Brooklyn was small. It was like an upstairs. I almost felt like we were in somebody's upstairs apartment.
Oh, wow.
I forgot the name of that studio. I forgot the name of all the studios. I'm an idiot. I'm old. I'm 51. Okay, I'm turning 52. Give me a break. But like I said, the memories were crossing the street, getting a good, real Italian mortadella sandwich, going next door and hanging out with Billy Milano, listening to stories of the old days of like SOD and, you know, those bands, the crossover punk rock metal bands and just all that stuff. Those are good memories. Sitting in a lounge, I remember having an argument, not a serious argument, but like a good argument about this one song that was on the album that we were convinced it sounded like a Finch song. Like,
oh, wow.
It's the same riff, but our song came out before theirs. So, it came out around the same time. What am I saying? It came out around the same time. So we were afraid to do this and that. But other than that, I mean, when people always ask me, do you remember what it was like in the studio? No, I don't, because it goes by so quick. I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth. Louder Now wasn't like that. But, you know, those first 2 albums went by so quick, and it was just so much fun that the whole memory of it was fun. My manager coming out, hanging out with us, traveling to fucking Hoboken every day was great time. But, you know, it was just fun. You know, and the funny thing is both albums, We Want to Be and Tell Your Friends, both were recorded in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Did you know somebody down there, or was that just a place?
I mean, Big Blue Meanie, that did Tell Your Friends was in Hoboken. And Water, oh God, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. I feel really terrible. But Lou Giordano got us in a studio in Hoboken, a couple blocks down from that one, and that's where we did it. But yeah.
So we've always been a huge fan of the catalog, but those first couple records, song titles, man, like how much fun did you guys have coming up with song titles?
Well, Tell Your Friends, John and Adam, either stoned or drunk, named 90% of those songs off of the Blue Channel. Okay. And then honestly, Where You Want to Be was, again, just randomly picking the weirdest shit.
Eddie, you came up with bonus
I
mosh
did.
part 2.
No,
No.
no. I came up with 180 by summer.
Yeah.
Because I was always telling them, I'm going to be 180 by summer. And they're like, okay, yeah. And I bet them all. I bet them all. I'll give you each $2,000 if I'm not 180 by summer. They're like, okay. And I wasn't 180 by summer.
Did you pay him?
So to be a dick to me, Adam named the song 180 by summer.
That feels like a proper response.
I still haven't paid them.
Well, I think you did. They named the song after it. Now it's lore. It's out there, you know?
Yeah. So that's why and technically right now I'm 209.
Well, you're getting there.
I've lost like 56 pounds, I think.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I'm on my way. So hopefully by the end of the summer, I'll be close to it. Maybe 190.
Eddie, did you specify what summer you were talking about? Because if you didn't specify summer, as long as you're 180 at some point, you're there.
That's summer.
That summer? Okay. All right.
And when we were writing the album in fall, and then we went through winter and blah, blah, blah. And then we started recording the album the next following year, right after New Year. That summer.
I was trying to give you an out, man.
I'll be 180 by summer.
Yeah.
And literally, just to be a dick to me, because that's what they did to me, jokingly, his friends are never nice to each other. They fucking named the song 180 by Summer. And I was so mad, but then it ended up being my favorite song because I wrote it. So there you go.
That's a good one too. Yep.
It's my, like I said, it's my 2-year-old son's favorite jam.
That's awesome.
So this album, we've been living with it for 20 years. And I remember buying it the week it came out at Bull Moose. It's a record store in Maine. We've worn it out over the years. It's got all-time songs. The band still plays a couple of them. They still play Decade and Set Phasers.
Yeah.
And man, when you guys were recording this, did you think that you had something like special?
Yeah. I mean, I think after hearing Decade, I knew we did something right. You know, like I wrote the song Everything Must Go, and I originally wrote that song years ago, around the same time as like Ghost Man on Third. And it was a part of the era of like slow, you know, maybe post shoegazy songs. I don't know. But yeah, I think Decade. Because Ghost Man on Third was meant to be the slow, powerful, like, oh, we still have a little of that emo side to us.
Oh, yeah.
But when Decade came out, Decade Under the Influence, that definitely was, I knew we were like, boom, this is going to be a bang. And it was a banger. And it ended up being, everyone loves that song. So,
banger album. Banger. Yeah, I mean, Tony and I aren't musicians, but like if I created this album and it was recorded and it was like the release cycle is about to start, there's no way I wouldn't have been hyped and stoked. Like everyone's going to fucking love this. I know that must sound weird, but like I would think that I would be able to recognize that this is a fucking banger album.
Awesome.
That's probably tough because you're close to it though, right? I mean, you're in the thick of it. You're writing it yourself. You're putting it out quickly. You know, you get 10 days to put it together. Right? You're just trying to figure out the songs, get them in the can, and then deal with touring and promoting it and all that after the fact.
Okay, you talking about Tell Your Friends or where you want to be?
Where you want to be. Okay,
yeah. I tell you though, I mean, I know we were freaking excited to play those songs. We couldn't wait. That was like, those are the years when we were excited to leave. Not that we're never excited to leave for tour, but you know, when you tour I fucking walked away from music because of what it did to me. You know what I mean? It's just the years and years and years of being. But at that time, we were so gung ho and pumped and ready to get back out there that when that album did its first headline tour, which I don't really remember who it was with, but man, we were like, let's fucking do this. You know, like we're doing this. And I think that album got us ready for the limelight of Louder Now. Got us ready to be able to deal with the big boys, you know?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So,
well, I mean, it went gold, right?
But I also think, yeah, it went gold. It's probably about to go platinum too.
It's got to be close, yeah.
It's very close. Like they're each, like, Tell Your Friends went platinum a year ago. They're each literally like a couple thousand away from each other. And they're each like by a year or two behind. So it'll be nice. But yeah, we were very excited and pumped for that. And I don't think we were like already pro to do it when that album came out. Like we were that stoked on it, you know. And Decade on the Influence, it's again a song I wrote. The riff I came up with. People always ask me, "How'd you come up with that riff? How'd you come up with that?" Literally, I was in the bathroom.
Nice.
I was on the shitter, and I was thinking about Smashing Pumpkins 1979, and I went, "I love that riff. I got to write something like that." So when I got off the shitter, I went into the room and I wrote, dun, 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 and then that was the riff.
It's funny. I remember listening. I've listened to it a million times. I remember reading that about it. It was somewhere in our travels, getting ready to talk to you, and I was like, I had never heard it that way. And then I went back and listened to it. Like, do I hear 1979? Yeah. And I did. I was like, oh yeah, it's there. Yeah,
you got to hear it. You got to hear it. It's my spectrum. It's my like. I was diagnosed with 5 years ago. I was diagnosed with severe ADHD and slightly on the spectrum. You know. That's okay. I always knew I was a nutball, but now I know why people couldn't handle me because I'm, so emotional. But really, here I am trying to figure out my brain chemicals. So I would hear things like that. Like, I don't know how to read or write music. I don't know notes. I don't know how to I could do tablature. Who can't, But for me, it's always a melody in my head. And Mark O'Connell's the same way. I know he is. But, we just know melodies, music, like when I produce bands, it's like, I'll hear something they don't hear, So anyway, that was my thing with a lot of my influences. Love Smashing Pumpkins. I love how Billy Corgan played guitar because I played that way. I'm not perfect. I'm sloppy. I'm heavy. I'm shoegazy, with a little hardcore in there. You know what I mean? So when he did that one riff from that song, I was like, I could do that my way, but I want to do that. And that's the riff. Go figure.
Who came up with the artwork? Whose idea was that?
Well, the naked kid on front, may or may not be me.
Nice, yeah.
That's the mysterious secret rumor that we'll never admit to a childhood picture being drawn over as a picture. But it's not. I don't think it's my ass at all. But Adam came up with the idea. Adam and this. One of his friends, I'm such a dick because this guy really did do a lot of shit for us, and I'm not remembering names now. Listen, I'm 51. Anyway, so Adam came up with that. Adam comes up with all the album covers. Like, me, Mark, and some of the band members would write most of the music, but Adam did a lot of the artwork and stuff like that. So Adam came up with that idea. I don't know where he was going with the road and the mysterious naked kid on the front cover.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Oh yeah, it worked.
Okay,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's iconic. It's iconic in its own way.
Someone said that to me because I have all these books, and I have a book on album covers, and I leave it at the studio. And they were telling me, someone said that to me about the 20-year anniversary. They're like, technically, where you want to be that album cover could be on that iconic. They had the iconic release of the greatest album covers. Like totally. if they did it again, and I was like, yeah, I could see that. Tell your friends that album cover, it was at the time, it was all the emo bands and all that. And somebody had to have some kind of bridge in a car in it, or an old man on a bench feeding pigeons. I don't know. But
either or. They both work.
The way you want to be, I don't know. That's a question for Adam. Again, he came up with that.
I may cut this depending on where it goes, just because we wanted to tell you. We posted something with the album artwork on TikTok not that long. It was a little while ago now, and it got flagged as nudity.
The naked kid's ass. Yeah.
Like it's naked painted kid.
It's a painting. Yeah. Like how are you flagging its music? Like what are we doing here? It's got an album title, it's got a band title. Like what are we doing here?
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Had to share.
That's funny. Hey, you know what? Fuck the system. That's why we all got into his music anyway, right? We're punk rock kids. We're metalheads. We don't follow rules.
Totally.
You don't like my ass or whoever's ass that is?
Right.
Don't look at it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Eddie, you didn't follow the rules. You used to wear all the ties. That was your, yeah. Was that like a thing you were going for, or just the way it happened?
I just always dressed like that.
Right.
I grew up, like, growing up on Long Island, there was always a little of a mod style. Like, I know emo turned into like, put my hair on, wear white makeup, and I'm goth now. No, back then, we didn't dress like that. We used to wear tight black jeans and sweaters with ties on. Like if you look at the old Refuse album videos, and that's how the Long Island, that's how the scene dressed for a little while. Fred Perry shirts and shit like that.
I'm bummed you're not wearing it tonight, Eddie. I thought for sure you'd pop it. Yeah.
What my shirt with a tie?
The shirt with the tie, yeah, man. That's what I'm gonna get dressed up for.
I just had one on the other day at a wedding.
Nice.
I'm doing an emo night this Saturday. This band that's really good, named Flicker Fade, after another song that I was a part of. They asked me to play like 5 songs with them. It's the second time I'm doing it, but I'm gonna rock the black shirt and my burgundy tie.
Yeah, the burgundy tie. It's
iconic. I mean, I don't know. It's just I always thought it's good to look spiffy. You gotta look good.
Look good, feel good, play good, man.
Then all of a sudden, everyone took it and they're like, "Oh, I like bats and blood."
Yeah.
I'm so like emo.
Yep.
My band's name is War on the Dance Floor. I don't know. Whatever. I got ruined by some shitty band, Falling Reverse. One of those bands. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can leave that one because I mean that.
Okay,
anyway,
good. We'll leave that right in there.
All right, we'll do.
So you guys record the album. It's done. It's wrapped. It comes out at the time of recording, pretty much 20 years ago to the date. It debuts number 3 on Billboard.
Right. Yeah.
How was that when that happened? Were you guys like, what the fuck? How did this happen?
We made number 2 and number 3, and I believe number 8. Anyway, but yeah, it was crazy, man. I honestly, it didn't hit me because I don't give a shit about the billboards. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a shit about Rolling Stone or any of that crap. So it was cool. But then when people started to be like, "No, dude, you're number 3 on the billboards," I go, "Okay, do we get an extra check? I don't know."
What does this mean?
But then I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. That is pretty cool. So it was cool. I mean, what's funny? We have accomplished so much shit that we didn't burden ourselves on, that we didn't go, oh my God, I have to do this. Or, oh my God, if I don't do this, we're never going to make it. We didn't give a shit. That's the whole point of this fucking scene.
Mm-hmm.
Who gives a shit? If you make it big, great. If you don't, great. You're still going to play an awesome show in a bar in someone's backyard or whatever,
Totally.
So what? You have to work at Cablevision. Okay. But you're still going to play shows on a weekend,
Yeah.
So that's just the way I look at it. It's like, all right, cool. That's cool. That's cool. I appreciate it. You know what it means more to me, honestly? When a young kid says something to me, like they have knowledge. And I'm like, man, you're 14. You know about that? I'll sit down with that kid and I'll talk his ear off. And, to me, that's more exciting than hearing about being number 3 on Billboard or, I don't know. Not saying I'm not appreciated. Trust me.
It just meant that people bought it, right? It meant that people were into it.
Yeah. We were getting the word out and it was fun. I mean, did we get cocky ever? Honestly, I don't think we ever did. I think we kept our feet grounded. Once in a while, someone had to get slapped around, but that's it.
Yeah, we all do, right?
But I don't think it changed us as people. We're still down to earth, all human beings, you know what I mean? So it's a great accomplishment. I am proud of us for that. I'm proud of us for a lot of things. I'm proud of other bands. You know what I mean?
No, I think that probably just comes from the scene you grew up in, coming from the bands you came from. Like it's just an extension of things that you were doing in other bands. And this happened to, you happened to click with other guys making music and fans loved it and you just kept doing it.
When I met a lot of my idols and I realized how fucking amazing they are and down to earth, like Tom Araya from Slayer, Zakk Wylde, I hung out with him. I can name a million people who are so down to earth. Those, Brian Baker, all those guys had all taught me the same thing. Don't forget where you're from. Keep your feet on the ground. And you're just like everybody else and appreciate who made you who you are. And honest to God, that's the advice I took from those guys. And also growing up in the hardcore scene, definitely booking shows and just all you got is your friends. So, this is what we have. Now let's do this shit, the correct way. So you always try to be, I don't know, stay grounded,
Yeah.
We don't do it to be rock stars. We didn't start the hardcore scene to be rock stars. We started a hardcore scene to have a place to hang out so we didn't go get shot selling drugs. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but why would we forget that as people? So I think the one thing about Take Back Sunday and all the success is that we've stayed humble and we we've tried to show people that, you know?
Totally. Yeah. And I would agree. I think that the vibe I've always gotten from your band and the people around it have been that of humility, and like we're just so happy that we're here and people are into our stuff, but we're like, we go play the backyard if we have to. Like we'd have just as much fun doing that.
You know, we always had small venue tours as warm-up tours on purpose, just so we could play the small shows. And then we'll go on to the bigger. We'll go on to do the arena or the, amphitheater. But we always did the small tours because that, to us, that meant more. And then the big shows that's the way I look at it. There's a group of people in the world that get you, and they're from where you're from. And then there's a group of people in the world that are really big, and they know who you are and they like it, but they're not from where you're from.
Yep.
So we would do the small shows for the people who matter to us. And then the big shows to appease all the people who just got into us. You know what I mean? So that's why it was always important to play. Keep it grounded. You know what I mean?
You guys did some music videos. How is it working with Tom DeLonge on this photograph?
It was fucking hilarious. Tom DeLonge.
I bet. Especially in that era, right? That was, well, actually,
let me tell you about Tom DeLonge. Oh, my Jesus Christ. What you see on camera, that's fucking Tom DeLonge 24 hours a day, okay?
That's amazing.
So not only did he make us fly overnight with no sleep to get us there early in the morning, hey, I got you guys donuts and coffee. All right, let's get to work. Half asleep, made us get dressed, and he shot, honestly, one of my favorite videos that we ever did.
Such a good video.
Super creative. I love the concept.
My favorite videos will always be Decade Under the Influence, Tom DeLonge's video for proof something.
This photograph is proof.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's like me forgetting my kids' names. And then photographs proof. And then what else? With the other video? Oh, and Better Homes and Garden, the whole house burning thing.
Yeah.
You know, the house burning thing, like that was an idea I had for years, and I wanted to use it for Everything Must Go, but it never got used. And then Adam used it for that video. So for me, that's like my third favorite video because he did such a good job in it. All the other videos I don't know about. I don't give a crap about it.
So, what about Flavor Flav, man? I mean,
I don't even want to talk about that day.
All right. We'll leave it alone.
That was a nightmare. That was we had a giant video. Our poor friend Christian Winters had a great concept. The budget fell through. Instead of Flavor Flav walking away, Flavor Flav was like, "I'll do whatever you want. Let's have fun." So we decided to just make that video.
That's cool. At least he was cool about it. I mean, that's an iconic video for us growing up.
Oh, terrible. The worst music video on the planet. I'm sorry if I'm breaking everyone's heart right now.
It's okay.
The worst.
I still love it.
I love the guy who did it. He did he did Great Romances. He was a good friend of ours who grew up in the Long Island hardcore scene who went on to greater things. But he did Great Romances. He did Q without the E. That's his video. And that's why we thought So Last Summer was going to be the biggest video ever, but something happened and the budget fell through. And we were like, fuck, what are we going to do? And boom, we just did that. And it still turned out good.
It's iconic.
Because the song's good. Yeah.
It's iconic.
Oh, well, thank you.
So we're 20 years out from this thing. If you look at like publications online, like rankings of TBS records, where you want to be, like the Hard Times, I know they're a satire outlet, but they have Where You Want to Be as the top TBS record. When we had Joey from Koyo, who's from Long Island, on, he said Where You Want to Be is on the Mount Rushmore of Long Island releases. Like, he rides hard for it. We ride hard for it. How do you look back at it? I mean, I know early on in this conversation you said it's your favorite, but like, do you think it still has that shine? We do. Like we've worn this record out.
I don't really like to listen to my own music unless I have to practice. I have 2 weeks before tour. I got to rehearse. Like right now, today. Can you see that?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have my little babies out because I have to practice for this show that I'm going to fuck up because I did one 2 weeks ago with them in front of like not 1,000 people, but a couple hundred people. And I fucking destroyed Make Damn Sure. So this time I can't. Anyway, it's one of the few albums that we put out that I listen to. Like I'll listen to a couple of songs off of Louder Now, and then I'll listen to maybe one or two songs off of Tell Your Friends. But Where You Want to Be, I listen to the album all the time. All the time. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm proud of it. It's so much, even like later albums, like I skip other albums, like New Again is slowly growing on me, but at the time I was very unhappy with the way it was produced and mixed, and songs got rearranged without people knowing or me knowing, and that album is a sore spot for me. But there's still two songs on there that I wrote a long time ago that mean the world to me. So there's still songs from other albums. Happiness is the other album that I listened from beginning to end, because that's another, I think personally, album that we wrote that we got right, because the self-titled album wasn't doing too good. And I think that album was like, let's really do it the way we did it. But anyway, Where You Want to Be, I was just listening to it the other day because my son listens to it in his room, or
that's cool.
That's
really cool.
So it made me want to go in the car and listen to it. So I put it on. And I listened to the album from beginning to end because of the anniversary, just for it. And I got a little teary-eyed because I remember what it was like to be in TBS and all those hard times and the struggling and just the sacrifices and so much I went through in that band. And, but I'm proud of it, man. So proud of it.
Well, the songs are iconic.
Yeah, all time.
I love writing. When me and Fred wrote Union, that was like my favorite song.
Oh, right on.
But we never played it live because it's just not the same when Fred wasn't there, because certain band members have certain skills, So I missed playing that song live.
Well, it's faster paced, right, than a lot of the other songs.
Yeah. I think that's why I like it.
And then New American Classic slows down. It's the end of side one. Great song too.
Don't quote me on this. From what I heard, I mean, I know Fred and Adam wrote that song, and that song gets to me to this day. Like I listen to it and I get teary-eyed, and I've never played it. I think we played it live, and I just play like the ending. I figured out a rhythm I could do to it at the end to make it powerful and big, and we did it live. But we never re-recorded it to do it that way. But yeah, that song like always hit hard. And Fred, I give all credit to Fred and Adam for that.
Well, it's got strings in it too.
Strings in it, but I think that was the song that Fred and Adam went on the rooftop and sang it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They were on the rooftop of the building, I believe. It was either that song or another one, but they were on the rooftop for that one.
For the actual recording?
Yeah, and it was ambient.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I could be wrong. It could be, it might be, no, I think it's that one. But anyway, that song is, I love that song. What's your favorite song?
Oof, man.
Yeah, I'm really good with this. People always argue with me, like, you can't say what's your favorite song. I could tell you my favorite song right now. Like, boom. Like,
what's yours?
But it's got to be a category.
Ooh.
What's my favorite hip hop song? Pete Rock, C.O. Smooth. I Reminisce. What's your favorite punk rock song? Dag Nasty. Can I say?
Ooh,
I could just go on. You know what I mean? So,
see,
what's your favorite?
I have trouble with that, but I can tell you my favorite song off this record. I can give you that one. It's This Photograph Is Proof. I love the little metal waterfall at the end after the bridge. Is that you? Mm-hmm. Is that you doing that?
Probably. I did a lot of the guitars, so
yeah. It's so good. I still play it in the car. I heard it. I was doing it the other day.
When I came up with the riff, the picking in the beginning.
Yeah.
I remember I was picking that in front of Fred, and Fred was like, "That's really good." I'm like, "Really?" And I couldn't. I'm not that good of a guitar player. I'm the first to admit it. I write fucking really good melodies and songs, but I'm not a guitar player. You know what I mean? Fred's a guitar player, so I couldn't do it. So Fred did it on the recording, and from then on, he always did it. But I came up with the picking, but Fred just had a way of making it sound better, But that song is good. That song is fun.
I like that song. Yeah,
it's a great song.
The closing track is great too. Slow Down to the Inside. Great song.
Oh yeah, that's the song that we were worried about, the whole Finch thing, or this other band that had the same riff. That dun 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 dun. But then if you listen to it, there's like 50 million bands that have that same riff. So
yeah, yeah.
Who cares?
Plausible deniability right there.
I look at these songs like kids. Like, I don't think I can pick a favorite. I think Number 5 with a Bullet. I love the breakdown 5. Where it slows down at like the 2-minute mark. All-time TBS track.
My thing though, when I wrote Number 5 with a Bullet, it was supposed to be faster. It was
It
supposed to
is
be
a little slow. Yeah, you're right.
it is supposed to be dun, 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 dun. And then it was supposed to kick in. The beat was supposed to be more upbeat, but it came out a little bit slow. But it's still great song. I love that song. And Brooklyn. Oh no, that's later. That's Brooklyn was actually written during Where You Want to Be, but never happened. And then when Louder Now came out, we put it on the B side.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. Man, there's like 5 other songs that should have been on Where You Want to Be that never made it or ended up on either Louder Now or way later, like Flicker Fade, shit like that.
How'd you decide like when you were done? I mean, it's 11 songs, so it's a proper album, but like, when did you know you were done?
At the 11th song.
Yeah, you were just like, this is it.
Well, the label was like, can you give us like 20 songs? And we were like, no.
No, sorry, not happening.
It really was like, no. And then we wrote the album, and we said, here. And they were like, oh, okay. And we're like, okay, thank you. And that was it.
Nice.
I don't know. There's no like, oh, I love it. I love watching these documentaries and David Bowie's talking about this record and Robert Smith. And people are like, tell us about your record. Well, I don't know. I was eating a fucking Italian sandwich.
Right.
Well, he was cutting the riff that I couldn't play right. It's like there's nothing special.
We hear that a lot, Eddie, where it's like, dude, it just happened. It was a product of the time and the place and the people and the moment, and that's it. There was nothing, no special sauce, just a bunch of friends with instruments in their hands. You know what? The stories are what's important. Who was there? Mm-hmm. Who was there? Who did you bump into before you did that? It's for me, that's what I always would tell people. Like when people are like, what do you remember about writing Where You Want to, with them on Where You Want to Be? My first thing that kicks in is Billy Milano coming over with some hot dogs talking about hardcore.
Yep.
True story. I'm not making that up, So, yeah. I don't know. That's awesome. I hope I'm doing a good job, guys.
This is great.
I hit you guys up, and then now I got like 3 other podcasts. And yeah, and my band, October 20th, we're going to play our first show. We only have 6 songs. So we're like, that's good enough. So we're going to open the show. We're going to play 6 songs. And so I'm sitting here trying to mix that and do that and then do all these podcasts. So I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Let's promote that. October 20th, you said?
Yeah, it's a small studio venue that we run here in town. I live in Sandusky, Ohio. Cedar Point, all the big.
I've been to Cedar Point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a small city. That's where I live. I love it here. So October 20th, we're gonna do like a Halloween party. This band Flicker Fade's gonna come back and do their like cover set. But they asked us if we would be ready to open for them. I played a show, and I was like, oh yeah, I think so. So we're gonna do 6 songs, and the band's called Dead Hands, and that's it. We're not putting out an album. We're just gonna put out little songs on the internet. That's it. And then maybe an EP here, an EP there, but we don't know what our situation is with touring because it's for the dudes that have real lives,
Yep.
Some have kids and wives, some have businesses. So it's not like the old days with TBS where it's like, fuck it, I'll eat bread and sleep in a parking lot if I have to play the show.
Well, the other thing too is there's no rules to this. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, have fun with it. Yep.
Yeah. So we're gonna, if we play a couple festivals, we will. We do 1 week of touring, we will. Back to New York and back. We're not gonna become millionaires off of this. We're gonna just have fun with it. Dead Hands is a fun band. It's like everything we are purposely trying to do to make it sound like a 90s post-hardcore shoegazy band. That's it. The way it's recorded, the way it sounds, the way my singer sings. I just want it to sound like it comes from that era of like Hum, Failure, those bands where it wasn't perfect. It was sloppy and grimy and heavy. Like that's what we're doing. So I'm not expecting the world to be like, oh, Ed from Taking Back Sundays doing another. No, they're gonna hear it and be like, oh, he's 51.
XTBS. You're gonna have XTBS in parentheses underneath the logo.
Yeah, can't do that. No. But that sounds awesome, man. Where's the show?
It's at Halo Live. That's our venue, and then I think in Columbus, we're doing another one. And then, yeah, I mean, we're going to try to do more than 6 songs, but I wish I could play you something. But like I said, it's all being mixed. It'd be nice to have some kind of music to show people. But it's goodish.
Nice. I like it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't ride. I don't fucking pull my own fucking tail. You know what I mean? I don't have that kind of like, if you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. How about that?
Well, the passion's still there. I mean, you're still making music, and that's
yeah. I mean, it's never gonna go away. I mean, I get, and you know what? It sucks. It's like, speaking of where you want to be, because of the 20-year anniversary, I did that emo show with them. We did like 6 songs together. We did a bunch from Where You Want to Be, and I sat here and I re-rehearsed them. With, my son helped me out a little bit because he's a better guitar player than me, and he remembers things that I don't. Literally, my son schools me, and I started getting all teary-eyed, man. It hit me really hard, and I was like, oh shit, is this like the 51-year-old bullshit they talk about? Because I'm sitting here crying in front of my son playing Decade. So I don't know, I think it's still, the feelings are still there.
Yeah. And Eddie, we've done 230 episodes of this. We've only done maybe 10 episodes that are dedicated to an album, maybe a little more than that, maybe 15. So we save these episodes for the special records. This is one of those records. We still come back to it all these years later. Like we said with the SoundScan, like 1 million people can't be wrong. Maybe some of them are wrong, but if 1 million people are buying your album,
most of them are right. Yeah,
most of them are right. Like, it's a special record, man.
I will say this. I think a lot of those albums are way already platinum, but it's due to a situation that we are slowly getting them released. Do you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people bought that album. Yes.
It's a special record, and almost 1 million people, going to be 1 million people before long, have got their hands on it. So yeah, it's.
And you know what's cool? Like my son and his friends, like their generation, my son's told me that all the kids his age are all buying my record.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. And it's like the kids that are continuing the genre alive. They look at our bands as like the old Led Zeppelins. Like,
isn't that funny?
Fucking hilarious.
From a year's perspective, it makes sense. But like, since we lived it, it's like, that was yesterday, guys. What do you mean, Led Zeppelin? What are you talking about?
I remember buying Zeppelin records in high school and being like, oh man, these are so old. And I'm like, no, they really weren't that old then.
Right? Shit. I felt that way when the very first album I bought, pound for pound, very first punk rock album I bought was Agnostic Front, Victim in Pain.
All time. Yeah.
And I used to be like, damn, man, this band is like, fucking, these guys are classic.
Well, sound-wise,
they're still killing it. Yeah, it was big, But, and to hear people say that about my band, it's like, it's cool. It is cool. I mean, I'm old as fuck, but.
No, you're not. You're still doing it, man. You're still out there making music and playing shows, and the energy and the passion's still there. And this has been a blast talking Where You Want to Be with you for an hour and 15 minutes.
Cool. You know what makes me happy is that I don't take full cred. Like, yeah, I wrote a lot of songs, but everybody wrote songs in a band. We all equally, it was, had to be a democracy. That's how we were. But all the songs that you like, I wrote all those songs. So thanks, I appreciate it.
I didn't plan that. I did not plan that, Eddie.
That's why we wanted to have you on, Eddie.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys. Look, I can't even get my phone to work. There you go. I hope I answered your questions, right? I have plenty of stories. I'm an old man. I'm like that old punk rock dude, like in a rocking chair, and like my grandkid is sitting next to me, and he's like, "Grandpa, tell me about what it was like going to hardcore shows in New York," and I'd be like, "Yeah, blah blah blah." I have millions of stories. So if you ever want to talk again, let me know.
I saw Silent Majority at the PWAC. No.
Yeah, I was probably working that show.
No, I didn't. I'm imitating you.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. You're imitating me, and then me imitating the fact that I did work that show. Right. Anyway.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
Hey, guys. Thanks a lot, man. And I'll be looking forward to sharing this. And I can't wait. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eddie. This was awesome. Genuinely awesome.
And if you're ever in Portland and you bump into a Philip Hanratty, tell him Ed that he'll know exactly who I am.
Oh yeah, we'll keep an eye
Portland's
out
small.
for Phil.
We'll keep an eye out for it.
Portland, Maine's a
All
small
right,
town,
guys.
so
Yeah. All right, guys. Be safe.
thank you for listening to Podioslave. We are at Podioslave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podioslave Podcast, YouTube, Podioslave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.
But like, if you ask me tomorrow, I might say bonus mosh. Like, it's love, make it hurt. Like, all time. Just, and then actually, I think Fred seems so scream louder now, and like that was a little preview of what was to come.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
We did. I know that we always did take little pieces of other songs from previous albums and put them in a little Easter egg.
I love that.